Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Indy's Trusted Servant Show on InspireSmall.biz. What's Indy's Trusted Servant? Well, that's me. I'm Danny O'Malia. I'm Indy's Trusted Servant. I do customer service training and keynote speaking about customer service, but it's really all about the culture of the organization. What makes Chick-fil-A and Nordstrom, and at least until recently, Southwest Airlines, better than everybody else in their industry? They all had great cultures and they kept them. So many places never have a great culture, or have a great culture and they lose it as they grow or get bought out or whatever. I try to help people avoid that. I learned all of that from the hand of the master, my late father, Joe O'Malia, back in the O'Malia Food Market days. But even before that, when I was about 9 and 10 years old in the mid-50s, my dad had a little grocery store in Broad Ripple where the Vanguard bar is. Had one cash register and about 6 employees, and one was a 9, 10-year-old kid. He lost that store, and he came back 10 years later and successfully launched O'Malia Food Markets. And one of the things I learned from my dad, other than building a culture and giving great service, was never ever give up. What's the Indy's Trusted Servant Show on InspireSmall.biz? I like to describe it as lively local small biz and community talk where you can feel the pulse of Indy. And today my guest is Crystal Givens of the Starfish Initiative. And I know that one of my good friends, Mike Feeney, was in on the very start of the Starfish Initiative, and I had him on the show, the radio show, years ago. And it's time to catch up with the Starfish Initiative. So Crystal, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Danny. I appreciate it.
It's great to have you. First, tell our viewers a little bit about Crystal Givens, where you grew up, where you went to school, what you studied, how you ended up with Starfish Initiative.
Well, it was a nice journey. So I am a native of Indianapolis, born and raised right here in Indianapolis, and I'm proud of graduate of Tech High School, and I am a graduate of Indiana State University as well as the Indiana Wesleyan University.
What'd you major in?
So I majored in, that's a fine journey as well. So I thought I wanted to be a teacher. And so I wanted to teach mold young minds. So I went to Indiana State with the idea of becoming a teacher. I did graduate with a degree in child development. So I changed directions just slightly.
I can see Starfish Initiative in the future.
Yes, for sure. So changed directions slightly and graduated with a child development degree. I went on to do work in the early childhood space. For many, many years, almost 2 decades, at what is now known as Early Learning Indiana. Then I, found my way into Starfish Initiative. But before that, I went back to Indiana Wesleyan to get a master's in business administration.
Was that online?
No, I was in person.
You went on?
Yes, so that was before the online really took off.
For you non-Central Indiana natives, Indiana State University used to be called Indiana State Teachers College.
Yes, it sure did.
Probably before you ever got there, but that was their big thing back in the day. So that makes a whole lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you have been with Starfish Initiative how long?
For nearly 2 years now.
Okay.
So I'm a month shy of my 2 years.
Very good. So tell us about, first of all, when was Starfish Initiative founded?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Starfish Initiative was founded in 2003 by a gentleman, including Mike Feeney, the gentleman that you mentioned, and with the goal of helping young people to get a pathway to higher education. And with that, Starfish morphed into an organization that helps young people across Marion County, and we're servicing a little more than nearly 170 students right now.
Currently.
Yes.
Now, do people graduate from Starfish Initiative eventually?
Yes, so we are working with these scholars, we call them the scholars, Starfish Scholars, and they are graduating from the program within 4 years. So from 9th grade until 12th grade. 9th grade till
once they get off to college or get a job, they're done with Starfish Initiative.
And we're working to keep in touch with them to make sure that this is a place where you can always come back to give your time, talent, or treasure. As a graduate of Starfish Initiative, we would love for our alums to pay it forward.
So how does all this, what was the impetus when these folks founded Starfish back 20 years ago,
yes,
right?
Yes, we're celebrating 20 years.
The impetus was helping kids get scholarships to college, is that it?
Yes, and initially it was really around helping young people in the to get access to the parochial schools.
Okay.
And bringing those young people in to bring them to get access and get exposures to the opportunities that they necessarily wouldn't have being in some of our public institutions, and having a mentor to help them through that.
So without getting too far down the road, something occurs to me. How has the voucher program impacted has that changed your mission at all, or has it made it tougher to get kids to come to Starfish Initiative? Or
It's not. It has not changed the mission of Starfish Initiative. So our primary scholar that we're looking to target is those students who are 21st century scholars. So they're participating in the Indiana Commission for Higher Ed's program, which is called the 21st Century Scholar. And those students are signing up for that program by the end of their 8th grade year.
So they're signing up for that program before they ever hear of Starfish Initiative,
yes,
generally?
Generally, yes.
Right. So tell us about the 21st Century Initiative a little bit.
Yes, so the 21st Century Scholars Program is it's designed to help those students who have a need, they have a financial need, but they're also showing that they're motivated. They're keeping a 2.5 GPA, and there's some other factors in there to ensure that they are bound to go on to college. And it's really a tool to help cover the tuition of an Indiana State University, college or university in Indiana.
In Indiana?
Yes, for those students.
Now, but you still do also tuition for high school kids?
We do not do tuition for high school kids. Our goal and our sole mission is to encourage, inspire, and prepare high school students from vulnerable populations and who are encouraged and they're already motivated for college, career, and life success. And that is through one-on-one mentoring. That is our sole purpose, is to connect them with a mentor that is working with them to help them meet their goal.
Now, you said you have 170 youngsters, teenagers,
yes,
right now. And when they get out of the high school, they are no longer, but you keep replenishing that. Do you
yes.
know how many youngsters have been served by Starfish Initiative over 20 years in round figures?
Yeah, so we did a guesstimate of around 1,300.
About 1,300 kids.
Yes.
These are all good students.
Yes.
To excellent students to start with.
That's right. And they've gone on to do tremendous things. You mentioned Mike Feeney. So one of his former scholars, went on to, he is a rocket scientist.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a lot of professions that our scholars have gone on to, and I enjoy hearing the stories from former mentors about how they're staying in touch with their scholar many years later.
Kind of like a big brothers, big sisters kind of thing.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. That's great. So how do you guys raise money? Obviously, you get some funding, I would think, from the state or something, but you probably also have to raise a lot of money on your own.
Yes, we do. Yes, so that is.
Tell us about that.
So essentially, with a nonprofit organization, if there's no money, there is no mission.
Yes.
So in order for us to sustain and even grow and scale our organization, we do fundraising. And we do fundraising and working with individual donors to support the organization's mission, as well as corporations. And then we're also working through foundations and in the form of grants.
Right.
So
are you the grant writer?
I am. Yes.
Okay.
I am. So this has been a grant week for me. I've written and submitted 4 grants this week alone, and a couple more to go because this is grant season. So we rely on the generous support of the community in order to keep us going.
Now, how many employees does Starfish have?
Mm-hmm. So we do have 7 employees that are working with Starfish, and most of my team is working with the students directly, their students and the mentors directly, in order to make sure those relationships are moving forward and those relationships are sustainable. And if the student or the mentor has a challenge, that our match specialists are the ones who are helping with solutions and resources for them.
So you got 170 young people involved now. Do you have 170 mentors?
We're just shy of 170.
Just shy.
Yeah, so just shy.
Anybody doubling up?
Not yet. Well, we've asked a couple to double up, but we don't want that to be the go-to. We want to bring in mentors. So in addition to raising money and dollars for the organization, mentors is our other source in how we're making sure that we're connecting these students to information and people.
So before I forget, let's put a call out for mentors.
Yes.
Tell the folks how to get a hold of you guys.
Yes, so if you are interested in supporting Starfish Initiative, whether it's through mentorship or through a donation, you can reach out to us on our website. It is starfishinitiative.org, or you can give us a call at 317-588-6300. And we are happy to get you connected as a mentor or just a supporter of the organization.
Go do that phone number again, because you stuttered there a little bit.
All right, it's 317-588-6300.
Now, you guys have a headquarters office here?
We do. We are headquartered on Meridian, 29th and Meridian.
Is that building where there's a lot of charities? No, that's off. It is.
Yes, so we're on the, what is that, the southeast quadrant of Meridian.
Okay, 29th and Meridian.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Same building as the United Way of Central Indiana.
One of the things I like our viewers to know is that the not-for-profit world has a lot of jobs. You know, and now you have 7, but if you take all the not-for-profits, there's an awful lot of people in and around Central Indiana working for not-for-profits.
Yes, there are.
So that there's just the mission of the organization, but also the fact that people make a living working for not-for-profits.
Yes, that is very true.
That's
Yes.
great. Now, do you do any fundraisers like golf outings or auctions or anything like that?
Pre-pandemic, we did do an annual gala. And so this year we're actually doing our senior celebration, which will be held on May 18th at the Ivy Tech Culinary and Conference Center, and from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. So during this time, we will celebrate our seniors who are graduating from the program.
Okay.
And we have 87 students who are graduating from the program.
So again, if somebody would like to attend that to support, that's doable, right?
Yes, that is doable. Yes.
Right. So that's interesting. The Ivy Tech Culinary Institute is a really interesting thing. I think that's a great option for an awful lot of young people that maybe they don't want to go to a 4-year college. They want to get to work right away and they want to pick up a trade. That's one there's a lot of demand for that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So these 87 seniors, let's talk about them. How many are going to 4-year colleges versus trade school versus an associate degree at a place like Ivy Tech? Have you broken that down?
And so we have broken that down. So we do have about 90% of them matriculating onto a 4-year institution.
Okay.
And then with the remaining going on to whether it's a 2-year or military or a trade program.
Okay. Now, it has to be a school in Indiana.
For the 21st Century Scholar program,
Okay.
Yes.
Does it have to be a public school? Can it be a Notre Dame or Butler or a private school?
It can be, and those institutions will individually, calculate how much the student's portion would be if they're attending those private institutions.
So they get a certain amount of aid from the school. Do you
Yes.
guys help them also?
So
if they're going
Starfish-
to those places?
Starfish, we help to provide some resources as far as other scholarship opportunities, not necessarily dollars for the students.
So you don't give dollars directly to students
We do
or
not.
to schools,
We do not.
right? You help people facilitate and work their way through the whole
That is correct.
mishmash.
Yes, because it's pretty complicated. So in addition to preparing for college, we're exposing them to career opportunities as well, because as we know, many students are no longer wanting to go to a 4-year college.
That's why I brought that up.
Yes, so we're just showing the opportunities. Here are trade programs if you're more interested in a trades program. And then there's a number of students who are going on to the military. We had in our class of 22, we did have 3 students who chose to go to the military.
Are you finding more people wanting to go military than before?
No, it looks about the same.
About the same.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a steady number.
It's a great option, and the trade school. We hear all this. What's the guy's name? Mike Rowe, about what do they call that TV show? Dirty Jobs.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
He advocates. No. A lot of people should go to 4-year colleges, but maybe a lot of people shouldn't, and certainly shouldn't go and major in something that's not going to help them. Right?
That's right.
Do you guys help young people figure all of that out too?
Yes,
This is the mentoring
This is
thing?
part of the mentoring
Yeah.
approach, and so our mentors are there to really help guide and be that career coach for the scholars, and then helping them to identify what it is that they're interested in. But in addition to that, we do have some guidance and some assessment tools that help students as well. And so we're working with the mentors are working with our scholars for 2 years, so they're committed for 2 years. Fortunately, and we have been very blessed to have many of our mentors to stay on for the full 4 years of that scholar's high school career. So we're excited to continue to work with those mentors over and over again.
Well, that's a goal, that they would stay with this young person
yes.
for 4 years.
Yes.
You probably have people move away and different things
sure.
happen.
Life
right?
happens, yes, for sure. Life happens. So we do have a couple of mentors who, have to move away, like you said, or family, a baby comes into the picture.
Yeah, that could happen.
And so that changes the trajectory of their work with the high school students. So we're rematching our students with another mentor.
If somebody wanted to be a mentor, let's talk about that a little bit more. Is there any kind of testing they have to take? I'm thinking about. Or do you do some training for the mentors, or?
We do. So the mentoring process, our mentors, we make sure we are vetting them and do proper vetting for our mentors, but there is an orientation that the mentors go through, and then the mentors are submitting an application, and through that application we run a background check as well as criminal history checks, and then there are some references that the mentors submit, and then we making sure we're continuously talking to them throughout the process to ensure this is something that they want to commit to, and letting them know this is exactly what you can expect because you're working with a teenager. And our goal is to make sure that this is a relationship that will last for a long time, and it won't just be a temporary situation.
So the mentors, we talked about trade schools and Ivy Tech and optionals to 4-year schools. Mm-hmm. Do the mentors get into that, and they talk about, well, it's great if you want to go to school X, but you're going to run up a lot of debt versus school Y?
Yes.
Do they get into that?
That is in some cases, and that's the mentor's role, to really help guide the scholar and help them with some goal setting. And the mentor really is there to be a support, and not to be a parent, but to be a support, not to tell them right or wrong, but just give advice if needed or if asked, because we have to be careful, and there's a fine line. We want to continue to earn their trust, and we want to be careful with the information that is shared. But if the scholar and the mentor relationship is open enough that they can share, this is a good path, or you may want to consider this approach. That is what the mentor is there for. Yes.
Okay. So you talked about Arsenal Tech. Mm-hmm. You went to Arsenal Tech.
Yes, I graduated from Arsenal Tech.
So
yes.
Of these 170 kids you got now, how many different schools do they come from?
We have scholars in over 30 schools.
30
high
schools.
Yes.
And are some of them private schools?
Yes, some of them are private. So
okay.
Private, public charter.
Anything at all? Yeah.
Yes, any and all. If the scholar is eligible, we do want our scholars to understand and know that this is something that they need to work towards as well. So this is not just a program that the mentor is doing all the work. They have work to do, because we're preparing them as leaders in Central Indiana to be prepared for their career, but also be prepared for their post-secondary education opportunities.
Well, it's a wonderful mission, and I've watched kind of from a distance, and I do remember interviewing someone from Starfish back in the day when I had the radio show, and I know there are other initiatives out there too. Mm-hmm. They don't all have the same mission, but there's an awful lot of organizations helping kids.
Yes.
Right, trying to help kids. And you guys are certainly one of the newer ones, I guess, just being 20 years old. But I take my hat off to all of them. The 87 kids that you got graduating now, are they going, what percentage are going 4-year versus associate's degree versus?
All of them have not made their decisions known to us yet. Yeah. So we're still gathering that information, and by April, early May, we expect to have their plans. So that's the goal. We just put that call out for them to let us know their plans, so we can celebrate them and highlight where they're, what they're going to do.
Once again, when is this event?
So it's our senior celebration is on Thursday, May 18th.
Thursday, May 18th. Mm-hmm. And if you want to go to that, just go to that and watch. You want to make a donation, you want to help.
Yes.
Give us that contact information one more time.
Yes, so the contact information, if you want to come to the senior celebration, please reach out to us. And and you can email me, actually at Crystal, Crystal, @starfishinitiative.org. And then also check out our website. It's www.starfishinitiative.org.
What is the genesis of the Starfish?
Oh, yes, good question.
Yeah, why is it Starfish Initiative as opposed to something else?
Yes, so it's based on the starfish story. There's a famous starfish story about a young boy who was walking along the beach throwing starfish back into the ocean.
Okay.
And a man walks up to him and asks, why is he throwing all these starfish back into the ocean? And well, he asked, what is he doing? And he said, throwing starfish back into the ocean. And he says, well, you know you're not going to get all of them back into the ocean. And the boy responds, but I made a difference to that one. So that is the mission of Starfish Initiative, and our goal is to make a difference to that one through that mentorship and through the programming that we offer.
Amazing, amazing. So what you're 8, you got an 8-year-old daughter?
An 8-year-old son.
Son,
Yes.
in the Brownsburg schools?
Yes.
You live in Brownsburg, okay. Does your son know about Starfish Initiative?
He does. So
Okay.
he is involved at Starfish Initiative.
How so?
So he's attending events with me and making sure that that things are going well. He comes to work with me sometimes. He's been on spring break, so he has had to come into the office.
Oh yes, you drag him into the office. Don't leave
sure.
him at home.
And he definitely already has a heart of service. He knows that volunteerism is important to our family and knows that it's important to give back.
Let's go back just a little bit. When you got it, it was 20 years. I think I get the impression maybe you worked 20 years before you had Starfish.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly did you do? How many different places and so forth?
Oh, sure. So I was really working in the early childhood space for that time, and working. I did multiple jobs in the what's called the Child Care Resource and Referral space in Indiana. So making sure children and families have access to quality child care.
Good stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it's always been about children for me, and always making sure that our youngest citizens have the access. And for me, it's important to have access to education beginning at birth. And so that was really core for me to make sure that I helped to get this information out to families and making sure children had qualified teachers, qualified programs that were pouring into them. And nothing's different from what I'm doing here at Starfish Initiative besides the children and families. The children are older now.
They're older, okay.
Yes, but it's still about access and making sure that they understand the resources and information that they have to increase their education and get more education.
And do you connect directly with the schools?
We do. Yes, so
And
we
how's
partner with
that
the
work?
schools. So
Yeah.
without our school partners, we could not recruit our students the way that we do. And our school partners are really integral to the success of Starfish Initiative. And we're making sure that we're going in to talk about Starfish, and that's how we recruit the students.
Oh, you go right to the school.
We go right into the schools.
And I suspect the guidance counselors also would send kids to
Yes,
you,
guidance
right? So you want to
counselors
have
and
a good rapport with them.
Yes, and
Right.
it's guidance counselors, and it's a mix of teachers as well, and other administration who understand the importance of having mentorship in school programs.
So you're pretty well known inside these schools.
Yes,
Yeah,
and so we had to
that's
rebuild.
great.
We had to do some rebuilding in our schools
that's-
because of the pandemic.
Well, right. The pandemic pretty well shut everything down, but
Exactly.
you're really up and running again.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
up and running.
One more time, website, phone number, whatever you want to give the viewer before
Yes.
we sign off.
Yes, so Starfish Initiative would greatly appreciate your support. And if you are interested in supporting as a mentor or in other ways, please reach out to us at starfishinitiative.org or call us at 317-588-6300.
Crystal Givens, Starfish Initiative, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it.
You are welcome. Next week, our guest will be Catherine Ord, and she's with an organization that just came to Indianapolis a year ago called Vagabond Missions. And it's connected to the Catholic Church, and it works a little bit like Starfish Initiative. It works with kids, but it works with kids about God. So we'll talk to you then. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you.